Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Monster. With the recent release of the Black Series 40th Anniversary Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker here on the right, I wanted to do a comparison to some of the previous Return of the Jedi Lukes we have in the line, and in this video we're going to be comparing these guys and scoring them based on 5 different categories. Those categories include articulation, accessories, paint-apps / likeness to Mark Hamill, as well as their soft goods cloak, and a final Lukeness opinion. So the first category is articulation, and for anybody who doesn't own any of these figures, there's 2 things you have to know. And the start is, these 2 figures are on the same Luke Skywalker body, and these 2 are on the same Luke Skywalker body. This one is on the original 2014 Luke Skywalker body, and so it's a very old body compared to the brand new, I believe this is like 2022-23 Luke Skywalker body, and so there are obviously some differences. But just for comparison, I will kind of show you here at the elbow. This is as far as the elbow gets on this Luke Skywalker, which is just under 90 degrees, and unfortunately that is not quite enough. Now, he doesn't have butterfly joints either, so he can barely hold the lightsaber with 2 hands, and then the legs are double-jointed pinless. Now, these 2 Lukes are on the newer updated body, and so their articulation is much better, getting well past 90 here at the elbow, and he does have butterfly joints here, so as you can see, tons of range of motion. I guess I can kind of get a better angle for you guys here, but tons of range of motion here at the butterfly, so he can get into 2-handed poses very easily, which is nice. And yeah, definitely much better articulation. He also does have the single jointed pinless look here, and as you can tell, still not quite as much at the knees, but it does look much better with that pinless look. So, these 2 figures are essentially on the same body, so how do I score these 2? Well, since this one does have a tunic here, it quite hinders the butterfly joints range of motion on the inside of the arm there, so I have to give the winning point to the brand new Return of the Jedi 40th Anniversary Luke. Pretty cool. Now, moving into accessories, which is the second category, cloaks or soft goods will not be counted as an accessory just because I already have a full category based on soft goods, so cloaks will not be counted, but other accessories will be. And as far as accessories go, the most obvious thing is each one of these guys comes with their iconic Luke's green lightsaber, and essentially they are all the same. There are differences in the mold. I believe each one is a different mold. I don't believe any of these are reused, but there are differences, but at the end of the day, it's all just a Luke's lightsaber, so I'm not going to be taking any points on or off for the lightsabers, but some of these guys do come with other accessories. The new 2023 Luke does come with a swappable chest piece here, so you can make his shirt the pretty much end scene of Return of the Jedi, or the beginning of the fight, however you want to do it. I like that choice. The Mandalorian Luke here does not come with any other accessories except for the lightsaber and the cloak, so he does not have a 1-up on anybody, unfortunately. The Endor Luke does come with the helmet. Now, do you want to count that as an accessory or as part of the outfit? I guess you could kind of argue either way, but I'm going to count it as an accessory, but I'm going to kind of give it lenience on it just because it's technically not a soft good, so I'm going to count it as an accessory. And then the Tatooine Jabbas Palace Luke here does come with a very nicely weathered blaster. I'll get it up close here. You can see very nicely weathered. We don't see a lot of weathering like that anymore, so I think I'm going to have to give the point to the Jabbas Palace Luke here for accessories, just because of how nicely weathered and the paint apps on that blaster. It's really nice. We don't really see them like that anymore. Going into the third round, we actually have a tie right now between Jabbas Palace Luke and Return of the Jedi Luke. Both are pretty head-to-head at the moment with a point each, but the third round is paint apps or likeness to Mark Hamill, and this one is going to be an interesting battle. Looking at Jabbas Palace Luke first here, this one is definitely an older figure, and you can definitely tell on the sculpt here. It's not great. I will kind of move the hood down here so you can see the hair is not my favorite and the likeness is not great. He even looks like he has a ton of makeup on, and so this one might be last for paint apps wise. It's just not great. Next up here is Endor Luke, And Endor Luke is not bad by any means. He looks pretty good, and I think the likeness to Mark Hamill here is actually quite good. Now, is it the best Mark Hamill likeness we have in the line? Unfortunately, it is not, but I think for a 2020 figure, it's not bad. I think the main thing this one suffers from is the shiny face syndrome, which it's kind of a shame, but it's not too bad. So overall, I like the figure. I think the main problem with this one is when you lift the helmet off, if I can get it off here at the moment, he has the matted down hair for the helmet to fit on it, and it just looks really, really weird. I much prefer the poofier hair look, and I understand they had to mat it down so the helmet would fit on right, but it just doesn't look good in my opinion. Next up is Mandalorian Luke, and this one's face is just hard to see because of the cloak, but this one is not bad. It definitely has a different haircut than this Luke, but I believe the face sculpt is actually the same, and so I'm going to compare the two right here. Face sculpt wise, as you can tell, they are very similar, but after some deep investigation, I have come to the conclusion that they have the exact same face with different hair sculpts on top. And for the most part, I think they both look great. I gotta give it to this one though, Return of Jedi Luke, for the hair. I think the hair looks much better. I like the darker hair look. I just like this hairstyle better. I'm not a huge fan of this hairstyle for some reason. I think it gets the job done, and it definitely looks like how it did in The Mandalorian, but I do think that this hair sculpt is much better, and I'm actually going to give the win to Return of Jedi Luke right here. The next category is soft goods, and right away, Return of Jedi Luke is eliminated because he doesn't have any soft goods. But for these three, they each have some soft good cloak or poncho, and this one is going to be tough, but looking at the Mandalorian Luke here, this one, it just doesn't quite sit on his face right, and it does have these weird flaps on the inside of the hood, which tend to cover up the face, and I just don't like how this one looks. It's very particular how you want it to set to look right, and I just can't get it to sit down and actually look how I want it to, so I think this one is going to be I guess second to last for soft goods. Next up between these two are pretty dang close, but looking at the poncho here, I love the camo details on this. It looks incredible. I think the biggest problem is the way like the belt sits. It doesn't go around to the back, and it makes this back part look a little interesting, and unfortunately the hood is sewn down, so you can't lift the hood up either, which is kind of a shame. I wish you could lift the hood up, but for the most part I think it's good soft goods, and it's definitely in the running for the #1 spot. And then looking at the Tatooine Jabbas Palace Luke here, I think the robes on this guy are beautiful. I love the way it sits on the head here. It's one of the best cloaks we've ever gotten in the Black Series, to be honest, and it's one of the few figures that I think sits on the figure just amazing. Like the way the hood looks, it's great, and I gotta give the win to this guy. I even love like how it's clasped here in the middle. I think it looks good, and I think, like I said, it's one of the better cloaks we've gotten in the line. So Tatooine Luke is gonna get the win, but the poncho was close second. Going into the final round, we actually have another tie again, 2 points each for these two, and the final round is Lukeness Opinion. And as far as Lukeness Opinion goes, this one's really tough because I love all these figures, but as far as the Lukeness Opinion goes, I think I gotta give it to the Mandalorian Luke, just because it's one of my favorite scenes in all of Star Wars. Mandalorian Season 2, whenever he comes through the hallway and kills all the Dark Troopers, it was one of the coolest scenes ever. It literally blew my mind, and I have so much nostalgia just even seeing that scene the first time on Disney Plus in The Mandalorian, and I absolutely love the outfit because of that. And so because of that, the Lukeness Opinion point goes to Mandalorian Luke. So that is the end of the comparison here. Obviously, these two did tie with 2 points each, and this guy got 1 point. Now, does that mean Endor Luke here is bad? By no means. It's a great figure, and I think if you're looking for an Endor Luke, it 100% gets the job done. But I do think some of these other figures do a little bit better in some different categories. But I think for the most part, if you're only looking to get one of these figures, you have to go with the brand new Return of the Jedi Luke. It is one of my favorite figures of the year, and it might be in my top 5 figures of all time, because it really blew me away, and it like I said, it's one of my favorite figures now. So if you have a chance to get any of these, I definitely say go for the brand new Return of the Jedi Luke. But that is going to do it for the video. If you enjoyed, the like button and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video.